Alright. It's a new patch. That was the tier list for the patch before. How has it evolved? Let's decide this today. So, needs a rework. Fairy will not move out of this place. And if I was to place it, it would be there and it would be its rightful place. Don't think I need to explain too much. Fuck fairies, just like the berry tree. Okay, so what actually changed since last patch? Let's start with these two. They went down. Even though at best power they are not too weak, considering they are a lot harder to play in terms of skill than the other synergies, I will place them in tier 2. You shouldn't really invest too much time on these two synergies when there's actually something better. Fire will remain tier 1. Despite every change that there's been, fire at the end of the day remains powerful. I do not think the nerf matters too much. Okay, flying and bugs, where do they end up? I think they actually... Maybe flying can remain here. I would say bugs now was dropped in priority. They are still tied together. At the end of the day, maybe I should keep them together and then it will be at the top of tier 2. Dark! Tier 0! It would be delusional to not place them here, which also gives Wild a good big boost just because it can be played besides Dark. I think Wild is probably up here. I do not see Wild too often, but I wouldn't underestimate the synergy anymore. Now that you have access to like Ursa Luna and everything, I think Wild is in a pretty good spot. But take it with a grain of salt. Light. Light is still good. Light is still good and has no more room to be played. What is with this call? Is that important? No, it is not, so let's ignore this call. I'm sure you can listen, you can hear the music from where you are because of my mic issues, right? Let's wait until the call ends. It ends earlier than the whole ring, which means that it actually wasn't important. Okay, then, grass. Grass went down. This patch grass has too many foos. These two compositions actually are pretty good into grass. Even this one is actually pretty good into grass because you do not let time to grass unit to regen, and this is actually anti-regen by design. So grass actually struggles too much against the strongest comp. I would say grass drops down in priority. Dragons on the other end, they are up here, and then they can also be paired with dark. So dragons up here at the very top of tier 1. Even above fire, I would say. Aquatic. Aquatic is still weak. At the end of the day, aquatic is just some side synergy mostly played beside dragon right now. This is not something that you will actually look for. It is something that if you have it, then sweet, it is lovely. But the current comp, look at what they are. Dark doesn't rely on CC, dragon doesn't rely too much on CC. Actually, this doesn't rely on CC, only fire out of all the best comps rely on CC. So it is not like this synergy is all too useful. If we come with a meta where poison grass actually improves, I mean ice actually improves, then maybe these guys will actually come all the way up here. Maybe if ghosts actually improve, then maybe aquatic becomes higher in priority, but right now it should not be what you are looking for. Next, fighting. I haven't seen fighting perform personally. I believe it can theoretically perform, but I wouldn't place it any higher on the tier list. Same goes with fossils. I think fossils in the best setup is probably somewhere around here. I wouldn't place it too much higher. But at the end of the day, fossil is still a very niche comp. You can't play it every game. You can't even play the same units every game. It's very random, which makes it drop all the way down here. Elec. There was some proposal for an Elec 9 tier. At the time, I actually was against this idea. Right now, I think maybe there's a place for Elec 9. I think there is a place for Elec 9 in the game, to be fair. Maybe Elec 369 isn't too bad of an idea. So I will place it here. And it's not really a rework. I think the design in this current state of the game works fine. But maybe just Elec 9. You know, Elec 9 would be actually sweet. Rocks. Rocks are up here, but not because rocks are strong by themselves, but rocks actually perform well against all of these synergies that are very physical. This is all a very physical meta at the end of the day, which means that rocks actually get up in priority. But actually, where are rocks best played? It's besides dark. So the stats are actually tied to dark a lot, and that's because dark is strong, not really rock, right? Ground went up in priority, but did it went up in strength? I think it's a weaker comp than grass. I think it is weaker than grass. Maybe I would still put grass above the flying bugs. Grass would be around here, then flying bugs, and then between these two it's like they're pretty much same power level. I wouldn't be able to really tell you why. And again, fossils probably better power level, but just too niche. Normal, I would say somewhere like here. I do not know if they are really better than grass floral or just worse, but they are up here somewhere. Up here somewhere, they deal pretty well with all these compositions. But power-wise, they are slightly lower, I would say. Poison needs a rework. Poison relies entirely on a status effect, which means that any anti-CC item actually destroys the comp. And anti-CC is everywhere, so... Yeah, because anti-CC is degenerate, then poison cannot work in this current state. Straight up, it cannot work. Okay then, has any of these synergies improved? Sound, when it works, is extremely good. But against these compositions, it is not that good. So sound is probably stuck here. Keep an eye on sound. I would say maybe here. It's tied to normal, by the way, so you can really make some sweet things between these two. Keep an eye on sound. But in this current patch, it is not a priority comp. But once this gets nerfed again, maybe this gets nerfed. I don't know if it really needs to. But once these two gets nerfed and maybe this one slightly, maybe sound has a spot right here. It may become one of the next tier 1s. Next patch tier 1s may actually be these two things. What do I think about Psychic? Psychic is still too unpopular to really be analyzed. Psychic being unpopular make it pretty... I mean, Psychic is a good partner with water, and water sucks. So let's put them together down here. Right now, when you play Psychic, it's besides either artificial that went down in prio, or besides water, that's extremely weak. So let's put it all the way down here with his friend. Ghost, I would say, is a really good horizontal synergy. Really good horizontal synergy that goes extremely well with Dark. Ghost 2, super good. Ghost 4, very good. Ghost 6 and above, very bad. So play it as a side synergy, and as a side synergy, it does its job perfectly. But it will not be tier 1 because tier 1 actually would be, I would leave it for main synergies in your composition, like your core build. Human side synergy and not one of the best. Field doesn't work too much, but maybe we can give it a tier 2. I don't know, maybe. I haven't seen it perform, but it can sometimes in good situation beat all of these comps, so let's put it in tier 2. Monsters, I would say also in tier 2, maybe somewhere around here, maybe somewhere around here. Here maybe. Like, it's in this area. It is in this area somewhere. Ice! All the way down here. Anti-CC is everywhere. Meta is physical, not too much magic damage because these synergies that I supposedly counter are weak. So Ice not in a really good spot, and eggs as weak as before. There was no buff for egg. They have no reason to go up the tier list. And that is everything for this patch. I have been as clear as I could. So yeah, do never forget the sweet words. Fuck fairies, that's why they are here. Fuck the berry tree, even though it's better this patch. And I will see you in the next video. Bye people.